Well, Dave, obviously disappointed with the results. You got the lead here today, but it didn't last long. What went wrong in that few minutes straight after the goal?
Calamitous defending. That's the truth. Like I say, we've had a chat in there, and you can look at saying that we attack as a team, we defend as a team, but at the minute the defending is not good enough by a long stretch, and that's individual mistakes. And as much as you want to put that forward in terms of defending as a team, people have to be accountable and people have to take responsibility, and it's part of the job. If you're playing the back and near your own goal and you make mistakes, then there's a good chance the ball ends up in the goal, and that's happening far too often. And as a result, we're losing the game. We've scored in every game, and the manner of the goal we scored today is worthy of winning every game. It's criminal that we haven't dealt with things. And listen, you can be sympathetic to have a little bit of luck in the fact that the first one is a deflection and drops right into his path, but we've got to be better, we've got to be miles better, and that's concerning. And if it doesn't change, then the personnel has to change, and we have to do something about that. We've got 10 days to do it, but at the moment it's far from good enough.
There's an old saying in football, isn't it, that you're at your most vulnerable when you've just scored, and it seems that the players just didn't switch on immediately after their goal, after our goal, I should say.
There's incidents, you can analyse and overanalyse goals. There's incidents through the game where you get away with things a little bit, and whether you've conceded after your goal, whatever it is, like I say, the professional footballers out there, they've got to take responsibility out on the pitch. Yeah. And at the moment, not doing that, and it's killing us.
Having said all of that, Mansfield Town, is this kind of the benchmark, the bar that you're aiming for? This is a side that was in the playoffs last season. They look a good side again this season. Yeah,
and listen, they're missing players, and at the moment they're a little bit short from where they want to be. I suppose you look at what they did last year, they started poorly, and then, like you say, in the playoffs and got to the final, and will be disappointed that they've not gone up. But yeah, it's the benchmark. I don't think there's a great deal in the league. We're sat here having one game out of 5, and every game we're in one goal swing either way. And I think that's the nature of it, and that means that you have to get the detail right. At the minute we get the detail wrong, and especially get the detail wrong in our penalty area and our defending third, and that has to stop.
Tactically, Dave, were you pleased with the first half? You brought Kitch back in, and he did a good job against Jordan Bowery, I thought, in that first half.
I thought it was an arm wrestle. I think they were looking to play. I think we pressed well at times and could have got more from that. I'd like us to be more fluid in possession, if you like, but I think that comes as a result of not winning games and what happened on Tuesday. But you have to get over that. You have to move on. They're in a luxurious position of being professional footballers and being able to come out and play in front of our supporters, which is brilliant. What's not to enjoy about that? What's not to thrive in that situation? And what you need is everybody to step up, not just rely on a Sauce and a Paddy who have been there and done it, and Sauce obviously scores an unbelievable goal. Everyone's got to step up. This is a team game, a squad game, a group game. Everyone's got to step up and do their bit. We don't have an out-and-out leader within the group, so everyone's got to take more responsibility. Whether that be attacking, whether that be defending, whether that be getting on the ball. The simple part of the game today, even in balls that we turned around the corner, we got in, and we could have got in an awful lot more by playing simple passes. We didn't do that, and we were a little bit edgy, which you can sort of accept and sort of understand based on Tuesday and based on the first few games we've gone. You then, if that's your thought process around it, you then get your goal. You should be on top of the world. You should go the other way. We've not, and we've stayed in front for 2 minutes. I don't know, 3 minutes, less than that, which is criminal at any level of football.
This Tuesday should have been an occasion perhaps you were looking forward to. I don't know how that now affects your thinking ahead of the Leicester City game. Does it affect your team selection? Does it affect your approach to that game at all?
Not really. Listen, this game was the most important game, so we would not have focused on Leicester until after today anyway. So we'll have a chat on the bus on the way home, see how we go. Some players will come back in. As I was saying, I think in terms of more looking towards next Saturday, there's places up for grabs, and people need to be wary of their position within the team, because it's not been good enough. And like I say, we can't just sit and watch the same thing happen week after week after week. It's got to improve. We spoke before the game about learning. It's dead easy to say, after a result on Tuesday, it was out of our control in certain aspects. To be fair, that this is the start of our season. It isn't. Our season started 3 weeks ago, but what we have to do is start learning from the mistakes that have made and the consequences of those mistakes. There were bits that we learned from, but there were bits where, again, in adversity, you go back to old habits and making the same mistakes, and that's something that we have to rectify very, very quickly.
Is it getting frustrating for you in the sense that you can't really say this is my best starting 11? You don't really know what it is yet because you can't see it.
Listen, I think based on what we've got players. Look at Will Collar, who was important for us last year, and he's not in the team. We've got Akil, who's not had an opportunity to kick a ball. I think, like I said, over the first month, what we do is players would get opportunities. I think certainly across the back five, there aren't many going, that's my shirt, I want it, because unfortunately they're making mistakes that are resulting in us being under pressure.
Yeah.
And like I say, it's part of the course in terms of being back there, regardless of where you are. I think there's always going to be more of a pressure on defenders. Ultimately, if they make a mistake and the ball ends up in your goal, it'll be a defender or a goalkeeper. Less gets said if it's a forward who misses an opportunity. That sort of gets pushed under the carpet a little bit easier. These have the sort of, I suppose, added problem, if you like, that most of the backroom staff are defenders, and we have really high standards around. Our defensive record last year was excellent, and we've not been good enough this year, and that has to improve.
Just finally, Dave, you mentioned the transfer window, 10 days to alter things. Do you suspect you will be doing something academically anyway within that?
Yeah, well, listen, we'll look at where we're at. I think we seriously have to look at it. It's important that, like I say, that we don't panic, and we won't do that. If there's things out there that are improve us and give us that opportunity, whether that's with experience, whether that's with different options, then so be it. But we're certainly not going to jump into things. This has been a window that for us opened in the last game of the season last year when we beat Halifax and lifted that trophy. It shuts in, like I say, 10, 11 days time. So we've got to make sure that at that point we're comfortable and we're strong enough to get through the next 4 months, in terms of injuries, in terms of form, and all those things that give us a chance to get this season going and get a run going.
Dave, appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to us.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.